In the constantly evolving world of K-pop, few individuals have managed to achieve a seamless transition from group success to solo superstardom. Jungkook, a core member of BTS, has now firmly positioned himself as a global solo act, garnering widespread recognition in both South Korea and the United States. His achievements as a soloist mark a defining moment not just in his career but also in the history of Korean popular music on the international stage. Jungkook's journey to solo recognition wasn't an overnight phenomenon. It was the product of strategic planning, relentless work ethic, and a finely honed musical identity that evolved over years. As BTS members began focusing on individual projects during their group hiatus and military enlistments, all eyes were on how each member would perform independently. Jungkook, often regarded as the golden magne youngest of BTS due to his multifaceted talents, had long been expected to make a strong solo debut. What was less predictable, however, was the scale and scope of his success. His first solo studio album, Golden, immediately set records upon release. It topped the iTunes charts in over 100 countries, quickly gained millions of streams across platforms like Spotify and Apple Music, and broke pre-order records in Korea. But it wasn't just the numbers that stood out, it was the reception. Critics praised his vocal range, the versatility of his sound, and the polished production quality of his music. Each track seemed carefully designed to present different sides of Jungkook, from emotional ballads and R&B-infused love songs to dance pop anthems ready for the global stage. This versatility has been key to his global reach. Unlike many K-pop idols who face the challenge of language and cultural barriers, Jungkook managed to create a bridge between Korean and Western audiences. Songs like 7, featuring Lado, and 3D, featuring Jack Harlow, were strategically crafted for international success, blending Korean artistry with Western collaboration. These tracks weren't just popular, they were culturally resonant, receiving airplay on mainstream American radio and coverage in outlets such as Billboard, Rolling Stone, and even Forbes. Recognition soon followed. In South Korea, Jungkook was awarded honors by major music platforms including Melon, Genie, and Jan. Domestically, he was hailed as Solo Artist of the Year by multiple award shows and media outlets. In the US, he achieved Billboard Top 10 placements, a rare feat for a non-English solo artist, especially one from a K-pop background. His single 7 debuted at #1 on the Billboard Hot 100, cementing his status as a truly international star. The industry began taking notice. This was no longer just a member of a boy band going solo. This was a global soloist making history. What makes Jungkook's achievement so significant is the broader context of the K-pop industry. Historically, while K-pop groups have seen international acclaim, soloists often struggled to break through, particularly in Western markets. Language, genre limitations, and marketing constraints frequently made it difficult for solo K-pop artists to sustain global success. Jungkook's case is different. Backed by HYB's powerful global infrastructure and bolstered by BTS's already massive fanbase, his solo rollout was carefully planned for global engagement. But even with support, it was ultimately his musical quality and personal charisma that carried the effort across the finish line. The timing also worked in his favor. With global audiences becoming more open to non-English music, thanks to platforms like TikTok, Spotify, and YouTube, Jungkook was able to take advantage of this wave. His songs quickly trended on TikTok, prompting viral dance challenges and covers. His music videos attracted hundreds of millions of views in record time, thanks in part to cinematic production and sharp choreography that resonated across cultures. Yet, numbers and rankings only tell part of the story. Jungkook's solo success also shifted perceptions within the industry. For years, there were doubts over whether K-pop idols could sustain meaningful solo careers, especially in competitive Western markets. Jungkook's success proved otherwise. He showed that not only could a K-pop artist break away from the group model, but also thrive independently in one of the toughest music industries in the world. From a branding standpoint, Jungkook also redefined the image of a K-pop soloist. His fashion campaigns, particularly with global brands like Calvin Klein, added a new layer to his solo identity. These campaigns were not just about endorsements, they helped shape his persona as a mature, global icon beyond music. The carefully curated image, balanced with authenticity and openness on social media, helped him retain the loyalty of fans while attracting new listeners from outside the BTS fandom. While Jungkook has not entirely stepped away from BTS and repeatedly acknowledges the group's significance in his growth, his solo achievements signal a pivotal evolution. He's no longer just a member of a globally famous group. He is now an artist whose name carries weight on its own, whose music is independently recognized, and whose brand is globally relevant. Furthermore, his solo recognition in both South Korea and the United States opens doors for other idols who aim to follow in his footsteps. It suggests a future where K-pop soloists are not just niche acts for specific fan bases, but mainstream contenders in global music charts. His rise sets a precedent that other K-pop artists and labels are likely to study closely in the coming years. As the music industry continues to shift toward globalization, Jungkook's success story is a case study in how to navigate cultural boundaries, market strategically, and maintain artistic authenticity. His accomplishments as a soloist are more than just personal wins. They're milestones in the global spread of Korean popular music. Looking ahead, the question now shifts from recognition to expansion. With awards and charts under his belt, fans and industry insiders are beginning to speculate about the next logical step in his solo career, a global solo tour. The anticipation is building, but for now, one thing is clear: Jungkook has already made history. Following Jungkook's explosive entrance into the solo music scene, his chart performance in both South Korea and the United States has solidified his standing as one of the most commercially successful K-pop soloists in history. While critical acclaim is valuable, the quantifiable impact of his music, seen through rankings, sales, streams, and digital engagement, underscores his widespread acceptance as a global artist. In Korea, Jungkook's singles and albums have consistently dominated local music charts. The moment his debut solo album Golden dropped, it claimed top positions on all major Korean streaming platforms, including Melon, Genie, FLO, and Bugs. His title track, Standing Next to You, remained at the top of Melon's Top 100 and Circle digital chart for weeks, marking his hold over the domestic music scene. Even B-side tracks such as Yes or No and Too Sad to Dance entered the top 10 without any promotional performances, an indicator of his immense listening power in the Korean market. Moreover, he set a new benchmark for album sales among soloists. According to Hanteo, Golden surpassed 2.4 million copies in first-week sales, becoming the highest-selling debut solo album in Korean history. This broke the previous records held by other BTS members and set a precedent for future idol soloists. On the Circle album chart, formerly Jan, he maintained a leading position throughout the release month, and physical reorders were made multiple times to keep up with domestic demand. Yet, while success in South Korea was expected to some extent due to Jungkook's popularity, it was his performance in the United States that drew worldwide attention. His English-language single 7, featuring American rapper Latto, debuted at #1 on the Billboard Hot 100, making Jungkook the first Korean soloist to achieve this feat with a debut single. The track also topped the Billboard Global 200 and Billboard Global XGL US charts, highlighting its international appeal. 7 wasn't a one-time event. His follow-up single 3D, featuring Jack Harlow, debuted in the top 5 of the Billboard Hot 100 as well. It showcased a different musical style, heavily R&B and funk-inspired, demonstrating his flexibility and reinforcing his commercial viability. A third single, Standing Next to You, which marked the formal title track of Golden, charted within the Hot 100 for multiple weeks and became a frequent feature in US radio playlists. Streaming numbers also support the argument of Jungkook's global influence. On Spotify, Golden accumulated over 1 billion streams within its first month, breaking records for a Korean solo artist. 7. Surpassed 100 million streams in just 6 days, setting a platform record at the time. Spotify Korea revealed that Jungkook's solo catalog now dominates both local and international listener statistics, reinforcing the depth of his reach. In addition to streaming platforms, YouTube played a major role in boosting his visibility. The music video for 7 reached 100 million views in just 10 days, while the performance video for Standing Next to You quickly trended globally, amassing tens of millions of views within its first week. These metrics are not only reflective of his massive fanbase, but also of public interest and the algorithmic push his content receives across platforms. His digital single sales further underline his dominance. According to Luminate, formerly Nielsen Music, Jungkook's singles performed exceptionally in both downloads and radio airplay. His success with 7 led to notable inclusion in American radio formats like Top 40, Rhythmic, and Adult Pop. These formats historically leaned toward Western artists, so a Korean soloist's consistent presence signified a major breakthrough. Award shows quickly took notice. In Korea, Jungkook won Best Male Solo Artist at major ceremonies including the Melon Music Awards, MMA, Net Asian Music Awards, MAMA, and Golden Disc Awards, GDA. His music was nominated in multiple categories: Album of the Year, Song of the Year, and Best Performance, reflecting both critical and public endorsement. In the United States, he earned nominations and honors at the MTV Video Music Awards, VMAs, and Billboard Music Awards, BBMAs. Most notably, he won the Top Global K-Pop Song Award at the 2025 BBMAs for 7. Billboard described him as an undeniable force in pop music, transcending genre and geography. The Recording Academy also took notice. While no Grammy nomination had materialized yet at the time of this writing, Jungkook's music was included in For Your Consideration campaigns, an industry signal that the conversation around him is moving toward even more prestigious stages. From a statistical standpoint, Jungkook's performance outpaced many established Western solo artists in both engagement and streaming growth rate. Analytics from chart data, IFPI, and Korean sales trackers show that Jungkook is one of the top-performing solo male artists globally in 2025, often competing with or surpassing the likes of The Weeknd, Ed Sheeran, and Harry Styles in weekly digital consumption metrics. An interesting pattern emerged during his release cycles. Not only did Jungkook's lead singles chart well, but his entire albums or EPs would consistently place multiple songs on the chart simultaneously. This album consumption behavior is common for artists with strong fan loyalty, but few solo K-pop acts achieve this level of impact. It's a rare combination of fandom activity and general listener appeal, highlighting Jungkook's crossover power. These accomplishments are even more impressive considering the competition. Jungkook achieved top placements despite releasing music alongside other high-profile artists like Taylor Swift, Drake, Dua Lipa, and BTS members like Jimin and V. Rather than being overshadowed, Jungkook managed to carve out his own lane, dominating in both the Korean and Western musical ecosystems, in addition to music-specific charts. Jungkook has topped brand reputation rankings for male idols and male soloists for multiple consecutive months in both 2024 and 2025. These rankings, compiled based on media exposure, community buzz, and consumer interest, point to his broader appeal across sectors, be it fashion, lifestyle, or entertainment. AS data-driven platforms continue to influence global music trends. Jungkook's consistent performance across charts, streaming, digital sales, and social media engagement proves that he is no longer just riding the wave of BTS's legacy. He has established a firm solo identity, backed by metrics that confirm not just popularity, but sustained interest and commercial strength. In conclusion, Jungkook's chart performance is not simply about momentary fame. It is the cumulative result of strategic planning, artistic development, and fan commitment. His presence at the top of both Korean and American charts represents a historical milestone for K-pop and places him in an elite group of global artists capable of influencing trends, breaking records, and defining a generation of music. At the core of his success lies a well-calibrated collaboration between the artist and his management company, HYB Corporation, formerly Big Hit Entertainment. HYB is known for its innovative approach to artist development, fan engagement, and global expansion. For Jungkook's solo debut, the company implemented a hybrid strategy that combined K-pop's traditional practices with Western music industry standards. One of the most critical elements was song selection and production. Instead of relying exclusively on in-house producers, HYB collaborated with internationally recognized names. For example, Andrew Watt, Circuit, Blood Pop, and David Stewart, renowned for their work with global artists, were involved in crafting Jungkook's tracks. This global production team ensured that the final product could compete on equal footing with releases from mainstream Western acts. The songwriting process also emphasized accessibility. Tracks like 7 and 3D were recorded primarily in English, allowing for easier radio play and broader appeal in English-speaking countries. This linguistic shift was deliberate. While Jungkook had previously included English phrases in BTS tracks, his solo work showed a deeper commitment to language inclusivity for the global audience. Another key factor was genre diversity. Jungkook's solo music did not limit itself to K-pop or Korean ballads. Instead, his releases touched on genres such as pop, R&B, UK garage, funk, and hip-hop. This multi-genre approach increased his appeal to listeners from a wide range of musical backgrounds. Songs like Yes or No appealed to R&B fans, while 3D attracted dance pop enthusiasts. The diversity not only showcased his vocal flexibility, but also positioned him as a versatile artist rather than a genre-bound idol. High-quality visual presentation played an equally important role. Music videos for his singles were produced with cinematic standards, multi-location shoots, stylized choreography, and compelling visual narratives. These were not just music videos, but content assets designed to trend on platforms like YouTube and TikTok. The visual appeal extended to album covers, teaser clips, behind-the-scenes footage, and social media posts, all tailored to create a coherent aesthetic that reflected his solo identity. Marketing was executed with precision. HYB launched a tiered promotional campaign, releasing teaser content at carefully scheduled intervals to maintain interest and boost pre-order sales. Teaser photos, short video clips, lyric spoilers, and countdown lives were released systematically across Jungkook's and BTS's official channels. By utilizing platforms like Weverse, Twitter, TikTok, and Instagram, the campaign targeted both hardcore fans and casual listeners. Jungkook's social media strategy also deserves mention. Unlike many idols who limit their social engagement, Jungkook frequently connects with fans through live streams, Q&A sessions, and spontaneous updates. These appearances, often unscripted, allowed fans to feel a closer bond with him. In turn, this authenticity drove virality and engagement, which algorithms on platforms like YouTube and TikTok favored. Moreover, Jungkook's collaborations with Western artists were strategically curated. Lado and Jack Harlow, who featured on 7 and 3D respectively, are established names in the US market. Their involvement helped Jungkook gain attention from mainstream media outlets that might not typically cover K-pop. These collaborations acted as entry points for new listeners unfamiliar with his background, effectively expanding his audience base. In terms of distribution, HYB partnered with international labels to ensure Jungkook's music reached key global markets. The distribution was managed through Universal Music Group and Geffen Records, giving his music direct access to major radio stations, editorial playlists, and global promotional circuits. This partnership helped bridge the gap between K-pop and Western promotional standards, making sure that Jungkook was not just a Korean star with international fans, but a global artist with market-specific strategies. Another crucial mechanism was playlisting and algorithmic optimization. Jungkook's songs were featured in Spotify-curated playlists such as New Music Friday, Pop Rising, and Today's Top Hits. On Apple Music, his tracks were included in Global Pop, Best of the Week, and R&B Now. These placements were instrumental in boosting streaming numbers and reaching non-fans who rely on editorial playlists for music discovery.